Good morning. Glad to be back with you today on our Morning Moments with Jesus devotion time. From time to time we do take a little break, and I usually always hear from a few people to just make sure I'm okay and what's going on because we're not doing the devotions, and I do appreciate that so much. It's such a blessing to hear from you guys. And sometimes when you do devotions five days a week, do a Bible study on Wednesday night and then preach on Sunday, and different counseling throughout the week, sometimes it's good to just take a break and let your not only your voice rest, but just to be quiet and be still before the Lord, to just receive fresh revelation for yourself, and to be able to be a blessing to other people. So that's what we did this past week, and I do look forward to the devotion today, because the devotion is called The Greatest Blessing. And as I reflected this past week on just some what I call me time, just me and the Lord, just kind of spending some time together, what he revealed to me in Genesis chapter 12, as I was looking particularly at verse number 2, is that the greatest blessing in life is to actually be able to be a blessing. Listen to what he says in Genesis chapter 12 and verse number 2. He says, "And I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing." See, when we think about blessings, sometimes we often picture what we receive. Maybe we feel like we've been blessed with health or family, daily provisions that the Lord gives us, even answered prayers. And we thank God for these gifts, and we should. But have you ever considered the fact that the greatest blessing of all is to be able to be a blessing? God promised to Abraham here in Genesis 12:2 is more than a personal reward. As I looked at it this past couple of days, it seemed to be a calling, a mission, maybe even an invitation to become part of God's plan and to be able to pour out God's blessing to the world that he would be facing or going to. Listen to what he says. He said, "Thou shalt be a blessing." I thought about that, and those words remind us that God doesn't just bless us for ourselves. He blesses us so that we can share those blessings with other people, with our family, with our friends, even with strangers that we meet every day, and even with God himself through our worship and through our obedience. Now, that may sound strange to you this morning. How can we bless God, right? After all, he is all powerful and he doesn't need anything from us. So how could we be a blessing to God? The Bible is filled, however, with calls for us to bless the Lord. If you remember in Psalm 103 and verse number 1, I believe it is, it says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name." See, when we bless the Lord, we do that because we honor him with our gratitude, with our obedience, with our praise. We choose to turn our hearts to him in reverence. Those are blessings. Maybe it's in the way we give back, even if it's just small compared to the things he's giving to us. I truly believe it still blesses the Lord's heart. You ever thought about when you sing a song of praise or whisper a prayer or thank him for a simple sunrise, which I try to do every morning that I see one? That's being a blessing to our God. When you choose to trust him in the hard season of your life, maybe you're going through it right now, but what you're really doing is blessing him with your faith. See, this morning, I believe what he wants to tell us is not only can we be a blessing to him, but we can be a blessing to other people. We live in a world that desperately needs blessings from the Lord. Not just material things, though those can be a blessing also. But the world is starving for kindness, for compassion, for patience, for hope. More than just a simple "have a blessed day" as you pass somebody by. But to be a blessing means to show up. And maybe it's a listening ear to a friend that is hurting. Maybe they don't need you to talk. Maybe they just need you to listen. Maybe it's taking the time to send a note or even a simple text to encourage somebody. As I think about that this morning, as I'm reflecting on this, maybe it's a prayer that you whisper this morning on behalf of someone. That's blessings. Sharing what you have with those who have less, that's a blessing. Speaking words of hope to someone who may have given up, that can be a blessing. See, it doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to be public. Often the most powerful blessings in this world are just quiet, unnoticed by the world, but they're always seen by God. And Jesus even taught us this very plainly when he spoke the words, and then it was recorded again in Acts chapter 20 and verse number 35. He said, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." So today, take a moment and just thank God for the blessings that he has blessed you with. And then ask him to show you how to be a blessing. Because the greatest blessing of all is to partner with God in bringing his blessings to this weary world. So remember his promise here in Genesis 12:2. "And I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing." Let that be our prayer this morning. Lord, make me a blessing. Because the greatest blessing is not what you get, it's what you give. And when you live to bless, you discover that that's the greatest blessing of all. So this morning, you be safe, you be strong, and you be blessed. And you go out and be a blessing. And watch how the Lord blesses you. Lord's will, we'll see you back here again tomorrow. And until then, as always, sure hope you have a great day.